Hey, so here we are again, having our conversation. Karen and I get on frequently and just share. Um, if you're new to watching our channel, Karen and I met back in the 1990s working in corporate America. And here we are today. I don't even know how many years later, but we've reconnected just within the past or just over a year ago. Both of us now having spiritual businesses, spiritual practices, where we're working with people uh, on their healing and awakening journeys. And we've been kind of just talking about a lot of different things today in this conversation, but what I'm feeling called to when I hit the record button just now was what was coming through is talking about talking. And for me, I'm just going to open this up. For me, I was never one to talk. I was the shyest person. A lot of it came from my upbringing and living in a home where there was a lot of violence and abuse, verbal violence and abuse, and later, physical. Um, I was told many times that I wasn't worthy, and that conditioning led me to believe I didn't have a voice. People would always tell me that, oh, you're so shy, or you're so quiet. Why are you so quiet? How come you never smile? And, I would walk out down the street and like strangers would just like look at me and say, smile. And then I'd get so self-conscious about it. But it was like I just wanted to hide in a shell. I used to have chronic back pain because I'm very tall, and I was always just, that was another thing. I was self-conscious about that. So it was like I came into this world as we all do, right? As this fresh, beautiful soul coming into the world, who's just of joy and love and peace and harmony. But we quickly get conditioned by the families that we live in and the people around us, and the messaging that we're getting. And so where am I going with this? It's like, how did I go from being this child of feeling unworthy and not even comfortable in their own skin, to just wanting to hide, to be sharing my story now and speaking very comfortably on the internet. Can you relate at all to that?
Just a little. Thank you for sharing all of that. And yeah, I didn't, we've known each other all these years. And it's the first time I've heard you actually speak to that. So thank you for sharing. Right. And I think that I'm going to share that we were having an off conversation about like, what do we want to, like, what was coming up, what felt topics to approach. And I was shared with Diane that I was maybe feeling a little protective about one of the things that we wanted to talk about, because I'm not sure I wanted to talk about it publicly. And not that I have fear about talking about it, but I was experiencing some anxiety coming up, and it stopped me in my tracks, because I think that a lot of times we have some trauma that we've experienced, and all levels. I'll even go, we were talking earlier, other conversations, and it can come from any stage of life that we have. And I don't always feel comfortable talking about some of the things on my awakening path, because they were so deeply personal,
Mhm.
and had other people involved. And I've always managed to hold myself back a little bit. But I'm reaching a part of my journey where, like, those need to be talked about, not in a place where, oh, this is what happened to me and listen to me, and um, I went through something, but from a place of, if I can help you free yourself to using your voice, like I'm ready to show up for that.
Mm.
And it's just so interesting that that came up. And then it was like, let's get on and talk about that, right? One of my main experiences in things that I'm supposed to, I'm very cautious about that word of supposed to, but one of the things I've had to step on my journey for my personal growth has been finding my voice. And like this all comes up into it. And I keep thinking like, oh, I've mastered that. And then I'm like, oof, maybe not. And it's beautiful. And we have moments where like let's talk, let's do this and let's do that. And then it's like, oh, am I ready? And this is the path. This is the path. This is the journey. This is the growth. And I think back to I'm gonna save that story, but I'm gonna turn it back to you. And like can you think of an experience that you had where you were struggling with like, am I gonna like, I don't know, like what do you think?
Oh, many,
Yeah.
many. I remember in high school, I had to, was taking a public speaking class and had to stand up in front of the room and speak. And my voice was so shaky. And I think my body was shaking too. And I remember the teacher she was so sweet. I loved her. She was so reassuring. And I could tell, all the students felt bad for me. um, but it was just that the terror, the fear of just, I don't have no idea what the presentation was about, but that first time getting up in front of people and having to do that was just terrifying.
Mm.
That's my first real, memory, that first thing that really comes to mind about that. Uh, and I think going back to, and not that I want to be going back to traumas, because I like to live in the moment, and I'm not in that victimhood, but I think for so many people who experienced childhood trauma, which can look a whole lot of different ways, right? I mean, if you saw my life from the outside, you probably would have thought it was like amazing, but behind closed doors, it wasn't. And when I was, I don't know, 6 or 7, I was sexually abused by a neighbor and a babysitter. And I just, going back to it, it was like, I feel like that was definitely a moment where I clammed up, right? It was happening. I had nobody there that I could yell out to. That could help me. I just like I didn't know what to do. So coming to terms with that and just linking it, because I always told myself in my head it wasn't that bad. Oh, it wasn't that bad. You're fine. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been so much worse. And just justifying it, right? But like stuffing it all down. And the many other times where I was shut down, trying to speak out or speak my truth or defend myself. I just like, right. And so I'm going to fast forward really quick to, this was probably back in 2017, 2018 in the fall. I was working with somebody and we had a session. We had like this energy clearing session, and I don't really even remember what it was about, focus on, but it was just working with the breath and really doing what you and I do now with people. But after the session, I got in my car and it was this like involuntary feeling that I need to just I think I don't even know what started it. It was just this energy coming up where I just started screaming in my car, and just the screams were getting louder and louder and louder. And I had to pull over because it was just like such energy coming through. And, it was just these sobs and crying and just such a release of so much dense energy, emotions, shame, like just that had been trapped in my body. And I don't know how long it went on. It went on, it felt like a long time, but I just remember looking at myself in my rearview mirror as it was happening. Like it was almost like I was looking at somebody else. And I feel like that was really the beginning point for me to really start getting comfortable, like stepping into why I'm here.
Yeah.
I've always known, it's like a deep knowing that I'm supposed to share my story. I've been told that many times, you're supposed to share your story. And I've never really known what that was supposed to look like. But here I am sharing my story, part of it, and it's the layers. I know we talked about this in another recording that we did, but it's just like the peeling back of the layers and the traumas and come back to the light within, to our
Mm.
authenticity, to be able to reconnect with that and speak from the heart again. Yeah, so I would love for you to
Well,
that was a
well,
lot.
well, thank you. Thank you for sharing
um,
your truth, right? Because there's nothing but beauty in that.
Thank you
And
for
it was beautiful to
the
witness that. Thank you.
space to do it. It wasn't planned.
No, again, this say it all the time. This is just name this organic conversations with Karen and Diane.
Yeah.
But what I was experiencing when you were talking was, you know, I was not the shy child, and I was not the introvert, and I was boisterous and playful and had lots of outgoing, and I didn't have I didn't carry that like need to be quiet and feeling to be quiet. But I was recognizing that by the time I got to high school, that I was having trouble expressing like what I wanted to express. And I found myself always, whenever it came time to share an opinion, I found myself always to play devil's advocate. Like I would never take a side. And I would always be like, well, she's saying this and she's saying that. So, and just always playing the middle, and always showing up to express for the person I felt that was not being seen in the conversation. So it's like I had that ability to do that, but I wasn't doing it for myself. And it took I see about it took a lot of jostling. That's how I kind of like,
Mm,
wait, start talking, start, and step right into family work and then family life and just beautiful people pleaser and codepending and perfect. And it took me experiencing a later life traumas that were powerful for me to step onto a spiritual path of awakening and opening and receiving and stepping into my feminine,
mm,
to get to the point where I could even hear somebody say to me, "You're going to need to start using your voice." I'm like, I talk all the time, like, but really understanding that this is something different. This is about speaking. You said it, speaking my truth, and having to go on that discovery of what is my truth. And sitting here on these videos, um, it's so funny because I can feel the anxiety coming up a little bit in my physical. So I'm so aware of that.
mhm, mhm.
Was near impossible 5 years ago. You want me to what? And I had beautiful leaders and teachers around me. And I often refer back to astrologers who were like, it's so funny because it just happens to be sitting right, it's in your chart. It just
Yeah.
happens to be on my desk. It's right here. Your like literal life mission is to speak your truth, use your voice. Like you could have, it was like I had an ironclad collar, and it was like, you want me to break this?
Mm,
And I had to step into it. And it started with my family and speaking. speaking my truth and helping situations going on around me. And every day it was a small step and a small step. And I remember the very first time that part of my practice, my business, my spiritual practice, where I hit live and went live on Facebook and talked to my audience, to my spiritual audience. And that was so hard. And I don't think I was in my body the whole time. And yeah, like these are deep, like I'm feeling it in my body. It's like I can feel
Mm.
my body responding. These are deep, deep wounds. And I don't think that I feel for me personally, these are wounds I've brought through from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
has been part of the exploration. Who am I? Like what was my Akashic record? Like, oh my God, can't wait to start talking about that. But what was my experiences that shut me down in this lifetime that I would have to step in
Hmm.
to do this? And and ultimately understanding that it's not even about me, it's about helping other people, right?
Right.
And there's that serving, and there's that, like, there's that opening of the gifts and all of it to here to help other people.
Hmm.
But it's been a journey. It's been a journey to speak. And I feel like during the course of just regular days, our families might be like, you're talking too loud, or don't talk about that right now. Or we feel that we have to tiptoe around our houses sometimes. Like it comes up in different ways. And am I going to claim my energy today, right? Like, am I going to claim my ability to show up and speak today?
My
Um,
sovereignty. Am I going to
my
claim my
sovereignty.
sovereignty?
And and a lot of it comes back to who am I, right? Like what is I feel like that's been my journey. Who am I? How dare I explore that, right? There's that like shutting down. And my poor throat chakra, like I can imagine it being pulled and stretched and bounced against the wall, like ripped out of me and put back in. Like every experience I've been through with my throat chakra, um, it's kind of funny. Like could kind of laugh about it. But I have my own personal spiritual experiences where I can see what happened and what is happening and why, how important it is. And I think it's amazing. And I applaud both of us for showing up to be videoed and to talk authentically. And that is part of the speaking. Who are you authentically, Diane? Right?
Yeah.
Are you just a spiritual owner, business owner? Are you just a mom? Are you a channel? Are you a channel for the divine? Are you
Mm.
willing to tap into what is divinely brought to us to spread the light, right? Like it can go really deep. Like I'm comfortable again. I'm not feeling my body struggling anymore because that is that beautiful divine feminine place
Mm.
that I had to claw my way to express. Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about where you're at?
And tears to my eyes, really. That was also beautiful. And it's such a good point. And it brings us back to being fully present, right? Being fully present and mindful with the conversations that we are having with people. What am I going to say to somebody when they ask me what I do for work, right? What am I going to, you know, like you said, tiptoeing around to make other people feel more comfortable, right? And I think there's been so much of that in my life with family members, with people I meet, with um, friends, and even some of my massage therapy clients when I was in that space, right? It was like I was doing that. That was my shingle, massage therapist, but yet there was so much more I wanted to bring into that work with my clair senses coming online, the intuitive downloads coming through, the messages I was getting, but I felt like I can't speak this, I can't say this, I can't share this. What are they going to think? Whether
Mhm.
am I going crazy? And so just, I think, being able to speak about this today in this forum, I have the hopes that it will be able to connect with others who might be feeling the same, who might be on the same path. And it is a journey, right? There is no ending to it. It's like this every moment opportunity. Am I going to speak my truth, or am I not going to speak my truth? I'm
Right.
certainly, way beyond where I was years ago and in hiding, but it it is easy. It's easy to just stay quiet, right? Stay
Oh,
quiet. And that's the comfort. That's the comfort zone of not just, stay within the box. But that's not why we're here. We're here to
right.
break out of the box. We're here to reconnect with our truth, with all of our truths. And Karen and I are here to be the guides, guiding others through their own healing process, their own awakening process. And I'm feeling called to maybe even just do a little intentional channeling, clearing of the throat chakra for the collective, for the soul-like collective group that community that we are
Yeah.
creating here.
Um,
But I
if I
want to,
can't,
yeah,
I think we should. I think we should do that right at the end.
yeah.
I think also, I just wanted to share is being in a spiritual practice and working with clients, right? And having to get to that point and working with our gifts, right? Again, going within and not without, and feeling, am I safe to even deliver the messages, right? Who am I to tell her something, or who am I to deliver? I had experiences where I was pushed to reach out to family members to deliver messages. Ooh, right? There's the trigger, right? And would this be received? Will I be, again, stumbling down that road of, will I be judged? All those things, and trusting to reach out, and that it's going to be received the way it should be. Otherwise, I wouldn't have received it. And I think there's, and doing that and receiving, thank you. I needed to hear that. You have no idea. And
Mhm.
just understanding that I'm here to serve. I needed to do this. I needed to push myself out of my comfort zone. But there were times I was in fear. You want me
Mhm.
to say what? You want me to deliver what message? Or being in a session and being like, they don't want to talk about that. And trust that this is not coming from my ego, that I can keep my ego in check to speak my truth. Again, not personally talking, like personal life talking, but
Yeah.
really being very in my truth, which has allowed me to be a different person in my personal life. So there's that beautiful gift also. Um, so yes, I wanted to just layer that in, that,
No, thank you.
sometimes you're pressed to deliver the message, and it's like,
I
even
was
that, it's like, am I ready?
I was told early on when my gifts of the intuitive gifts, clairsenses started opening up, that it's not for you. You're the vessel. You are the conduit. It's coming
Mhm.
to you, and there's a way to be tactful about delivering it. And it's brought, I think, every single time in working with somebody or sharing something that I've gotten has been of such deep gratitude and even transformation for some, such wisdom and insight coming from, because it's not coming from us, right? It's coming from that which is greater, this intelligence that we can't understand, whatever the energies are, whoever they are, always of love and light, always of love and light. And the intention is for the highest and greatest good of those receiving as well as those giving. Yeah.
Yeah. So just, high encouragement to anybody who came upon this video, questioning, should I be speaking? Should I be using my voice? And how transformative can that be in my own life? And I do think it's one of the biggest single important parts of my journey is stepping into my voice and my truth. And it supported me. Yeah. So just encouraging anybody watching.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have, I mean, like me, I for years have had this like deep knowing that I am supposed to be speaking and sharing more than just in my tiny little box that I put myself in for so long.
Yeah.
And it can feel scary and overwhelming, but knowing it's for the collective, for the
Transformation.
sharing, the transformation, the healing, the ascending of humanity, and it's a ripple effect, it's a domino effect. So the more that we can share our stories and help others share those, it's just gonna encircle the world in this beautiful bubble of love and light. So yeah, let's do a quick little
Yes, I think we should be expressing our
yeah,
truths
our
in our light
truth.
language. Yeah.
Yeah.
I open the floor to you.
Ah. So the intention is just to connect with the energies again of love and light, the unseen energies that are here for our healing and evolution, intending to clear blockages for the collective, for all those watching, tuning in, clearing energies that are not serving anymore, that will allow the heart to be spoken beautifully and clearly through the channel of the throat, the voice. Nia tarakoya sashia tarakia. Nia tarakatria narasarashata koya sarukuya nasia shitikia naria taraki. Nia saroshia tarakia atruya tarakia tariana rasarashata koya. Aturu kuturu 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 shata kuturu shata kuturu shata kuturu yes. Ariana.
I'm just adding in a layer of coating. And marwa, marwa tuku kukaria shunukaria tukaria paparua tuku. Marwa tukuria, mothers, akarua tukuria to go, women, shatukuria tukuru, girls, sharakaria tukurwa tukurwata, come forward in your voice. Shanukurwa tukurwa paparia shanukuria. You are clear. Shanukurwa paparia tuku, nakaria tukuria shatukiria tuku. You are clear to speak, to move forward. Shanukurwa paparia shatukuria tikiria tukuria in your full beauty. Shanukurwa tuku. Warwa tukunia shunukurwa awawa shunukuwa warwa kuni akarwa tuku. Oh, just a deep clearing of beautiful watering energy around the heart, deep clearing for the flow and past lifetimes. And it's time to release.
Yeah,
Shunukurwa.
yeah, yeah, sarashatakia. Do not be afraid. That was beautiful.
Gosh, that felt so beautiful. I feel so much clearer now.
Thank
So
you.
anybody who is experiencing, you may have been feeling movement, you may be feeling some emotion, you may be feeling some coughing coming up. I mean, it could be anything that feels like a little bit of a shift. All love, nothing's ever taken. And yes, I love just coming on with you and sharing and being able to do that with you and having this beautiful talk and expression to lead into that.
Yeah, such a beautiful exchange. And we welcome your comments, questions, all of it. We're here for you. We're here. I'm hearing the word family, right? Soul
Mm.
family. There is no separation. Until next time.
Until our next conversation.
Okay.
Bye.